Which apocalypse would you like see end humanity? Bring back the dinosaurs. We'll just hunt them and then they'll become an endangered species. After that we have to make laws to conserve dinosaurs. A global viral pandemic that only attacks human fertility. I think we could conceivably survive this. Assume everyone on Earth becomes infertile. Despite that, we have frozen eggs and sperm ready to go. Granted, any children born of it could also get the disease. But think of it as a race. Everyone on Earth right now is getting older. And it's a race to get prepared enough to create the new babies before the last person dies or everyone is too old to finish fixing stuff. You'd have to essentially fix two problems. Ensure that the new generation doesn't get the disease. And make sure that there's enough genetic diversity in the new population. We could just put all births on pause until we get a vaccine or something to fix the first problem. And the second problem might not exist at all depending on the amount of frozen sperm and eggs. If diversity is a problem, then in 10-20 years we might even be able to fix that. Just edit out all the genetic diseases. And then even if everyone was technically siblings, you still wouldn't get any extra fingers. The biggest challenge I see is that a big economic crash caused by no births could ruin everything. Deadly gamma ray burst. Quick and efficient. Instant planet-wide sterilization if it's powerful enough and directly on target. Definitely the best answer. Edit. Some great story ideas. But think less global vasectomy and more Death Star single reactor ignition on steroids. Sexy aliens FCK us all to death. Edit death by Snoo. If they take the ship, they'll pay us to death. Eat our flesh. And sew our skins into their clothing. And if we're very, very lucky, they'll do it in that order. Double quote. Everyone stays alive but we gradually evolve into more intelligent, peaceful beings. It would be nice to go out with a genome study and a taxonomic name change. Sucked into a black hole. I'm enjoying collapse by spiraling incompetence. Contagious apathy. No one would care to do anything about it. This is called the semantic apocalypse. The complete and utter destruction of meaning. What? This isn't enough for you? Huh? This is pathetic. Boo-hoo. The world leaders are all monsters. And we have to practice better hygiene and social distancing from a wimpy virus. I want zombies. I want hostile aliens. I want dinosaurs with a taste for human flesh. I want robots. I want combinations of all four. I'm not even joking. Dead serious. Animate titties. Humanity will put up a fierce resistance. Even as their numbers dwindle, there will be those who are willing to fight till the last man. Or that's what they would have hoped for before they ran into top 10 animate titties. Cat generals evolve. Then enthusiastically interbreed with human males until humanity goes extinct. Expect my 60k word length self-published novel about this to appear on Amazon in early 2021. Robot uprising. They'd be efficient and effective in the human cull, leaving no one to suffer. Just gangs of Terminators carrying those bolt guns they kill cows with. Okay, but they spare people who say please and thank you to virtual assistants. Aliens arrive and find us very tasty. Just a virus that decimates us. Ideally a zombie-like apocalypse. But a virus that just kills us is fine. 2. A virus which causes extreme euphoria and stimulation so you stay awake so long till you just collapse and die. Zombie apocalypse. As long as it's the slow-moving Night of the Living Dead, the Walking Dead zombies. Not those ones that turn into Olympic sprinters. Made in heaven, but Poochie runs so fast he accidentally destroys the universe. That or the T2 nuclear holocaust. Animals taking over the world. Monkeys. Dolphins or squirrels. Asteroid. It's fast. Or a supernova of our sun. We would only realize it when it's too late. Asteroid is only fast if you're lucky. You could wind up one of the scattered thousands that struggles to scrape out a few more days on a dying world. Dinosaur zombies would be awesome. but they're a bit too decomposed now. Cats rise up and take over. This. I personally look forward to serving our feline overlords. Things actually wouldn't change dramatically for me. I'm already a feline servant slave. Instant mass sterilization. Those of us that are alive die off naturally, with no further humans to replace us. This is both the best and worst answer. It would be fine for a few years, but things would start to fall apart as people with specialized skills start to die off with no one to replace them. The last few years would pretty much apocalyptic as people dwindle to tiny communities and eventually die off as nature takes over the earth again. I can't imagine being one of the last people left on earth knowing that you will never interact with another human being again. The sun exploding would be awesome. Ruling out the ice caps melting. Meteors becoming crashed into us. The ozone layer leaving. And the sun exploding. We're definitely gonna blow ourselves up. Flying monkeys with AIDS. The rapture. But regardless of religion, leaving only the dregs of humanity behind, e.g. homophobic Christians, incels, Karens, to slowly trash themselves to extinction. Alien space orgy. They force us all to mate to death. To really end humanity, it would have to be something happening all over the earth. Like the earth getting destroyed. But I guess that's overkill. It would need to wipe out humans everywhere and thoroughly so that no resistance can form and no one can hide. I'm going with a giant species that evolves from somewhere that lives in symbiosis with a locust-like wasp thing that is 5 times the size of regular wasps and contracts disease and venom. The giants carry those around and the wasp things target humans so the giants can eat them. I guess this wouldn't be happening everywhere at once, but humans wouldn't be able to resist this threat for long. Geomagnetic reversal as a result of Earth's paleomagnetism. It's a rare event where the Earth's poles suddenly switch and it brings mayhem, including earthquakes, heavy tectonic activity and generally extinction. As a geology student, I think it's fascinating, and so that, or any massive volcanic activity causing our air atmosphere climates to become unlivable equals extinction. Fun fact. The geological record suggests magnetic pole swaps in the past occurred every 250,000 years or so. The last time it happened? Roughly 750,000 years ago. In other words, this is way more overdue than the Yellowstone caldera. Use your compasses now while they still work. We slowly collide with another galaxy and I watch you all slowly get pulled apart. On a planetary scale, world, notice a thing. The space between solar systems is so vast that if 2 galaxies collided there would be little to no damage in the spiral arms, of which we are located in. I think one reason for evacuating from Earth will be the complete inability to exist on its surface. All this is due to the increase in the orbit of the sun. Either we fly away or we burn to the ground. Read Harry Harrison's Make Room. Make Room. This is how our end will look like. Not soon, but eventually. When we will destroy environment enough to limit habitable spaces on our planet. Pretty petty of me. But I'd want it to be all down to global warming and stuff. Literally the only reason being so as humanity chokes out its last. I can look at all the people who thought I was weird, annoying, wrong for protesting, signing petitions, going plant-based, and being a recycle maniac and tell them, fuck you and I told you so. Edit. Spelling. A swarm of million-year hibernating bugs that are the size of fruit flies but have painful bites. They are so numerous and voracious that they eat us all to death. Death by a trillion bites. The heat death of the universe. I try to be an optimist. Sorry to burst your bubble, but it is literally impossible to live until then. Trillions and trillions of years before the heat death, the only thing that will exist is black holes until they all eventually fade into nothingness too. False vacuum. Nobody would even have enough time to know that they died. Would just be blip and now everything's gone like it never existed. Like a soap bubble popping. Death Star. Not Starkiller Base or those planet-killing weapons in those Final Order Star Destroyers. I want more respect than that. The original first or second Death Stars will do. But before it hits, I want to be able to say for the Republic. Double quote. Sex robots end procreation. And with no new births, we all die old, happy, and sexually satisfied. An insane eye comes across us and wants to chat, but it has an untold number of pathogens on its surface, which disperse in the atmosphere and spread over the whole planet. Most of us die in new and exotic ways, and a small portion becomes something else. The eye then leaves in heartbreak, never knowing it ushered in the first cephalid empire. My answer is also probably the most realistic. I'd like us to destroy ourselves as a whole, probably with nuclear weapons or some future weapon like the rods of God. I think it would just be poetic and fitting. Genetic ascension. Just FCK around with our genes enough and the human species won't exist any longer. Saitama take a punch so strong that time collapses and the universe resets. Sense immersion technology advances at alarming rate and we all die of dehydration jerking off to VR Pornhub. Aliens vaporize the earth in an instant. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy style. The simulation ends and it turns out that we're all a single godlike being that pauses its own life to play as every human. That it enters the role of each character anew and plays each and every human role from birth to death. So that at the end, the being gains all of the life experiences of the totality of humanity as a learning experience. Finally, after the last character is played and the being leaves the simulation with all there is to gain from it, another being accidentally overwrites the humanity simulation with bad karaoke performances. It's the year 2021. A meteor is hurtling towards the Earth. It can be seen traveling through the atmosphere as the camera shifts to the moment of contact, resulting in a large wave of dirt beginning to rise and spread. A figure is revealed observing the horror, his back to the audience, as he observes the lethal mushroom cloud of sand and rocks, which is making its way towards him at blinding speed. He swiftly turns his face towards the camera, revealing himself to be Josh Peck. His eyes squinted into a knowing look, and just as he is engulfed in the deadly fog, he utters the words, "Megan. Dot." 7 huge pillars of light falling from the heavens, visible for all to see from different parts of the world. Each light contains smaller lights within them. Sort of like how the dust particles look in a house where the sun shines through a window. Upon closer speculation, the small lights are actually these horrific beasts with children's faces. Think Bayonetta. Or a cherubim, covering their head in each of the 4 points: north, south, east, and west, and standing tall like a gargantuan beast. Hundreds of thousands of these beings, maybe even in the millions, spam the sky as we look upon them in angst, horror, dismay, awe. Before anyone could notice, we all just become evaporated by the intense heat of their presence, making way for a great war no one will be around to witness. The start of the next era. Literally reading the book of Revelations had gotten me so entertained. The galaxy is engulfed in darkness. We've been swallowed by a big black hole. When light returns, we now see we have 2 moons, one orbiting Luna. Our bodies have become modified as a result of the warp, stronger bones, weakened muscles to acclimatize to new gravity, taller bodies, abnormally higher calorie intake requirements. Farming cattle and crops have not been so lucky. A majority of crops calcified, leading to world food stores being lowered greatly, and large farm creatures like cows and pigs developed fibrodysplasia, making it harder to harvest them. A challenge of great adaptation has been made to these humans. If they survive, they become a better human evolution, changing their taxonomy. If they die, it's because of a failure to adapt to the environmental food crisis. A meteor that we only find out about 2 weeks before it kills us all. Then everyone realizing that nothing matters break out into a massive life-ending party where everyone fucks and does drugs and all that shit before setting up to watch the world end. Gamma ray burst. Nobody knows about it beforehand. It's instant and painless. There's absolutely no awareness of it. Therefore it would cause absolutely no suffering. Everyone dies. But if there's nobody around to know or care, then so what? There's no downside. It just returns everything to the total neutrality of complete non-existence. 1. Nitrogen fixation is invented. Humanity is no longer dependent on natural sources of fertilizer. 2. This prompts exponential growth of both the population and fossil fuel consumption. 3. Fossil fuel industry discovers plastics. Introduces non-reusable materials as ubiquitous packaging. 4. Population growth leads to widespread use of neonicotinoid pesticides. 5. All of the above cause a global mass extinction of most animal life. We invent the ability to create gates through wormholes. And end up in a society where you can have homes that span different planets. With each room being on a different planet. Then, one person leaves a window open on the moon. Poof. All air on Earth sucked out through a window. Global asphyxiation.